Get ready because we're diving into the ultimate Bluey compilation, packed with the most amazing details you might have missed.
From wiggling tails to drooping ears, these small details bring Bluey to life in ways you might not have noticed. Today, we're uncovering some of the coolest hidden gems in the show that might just surprise you. The first hint we saw was in the episode Army. In this episode, Jack is the new kid at school and the latest recruit in Rusty's army. At first, he struggles to follow instructions, but there's one small detail that makes his training even more interesting. When Jack first salutes, he uses his left hand. That's not how it's done in the army. Soldiers always salute with their right hand. But after going through Rusty's training, Jack's salute changes. By the end of the episode, he's saluting with his right hand like a proper soldier. Was this a simple mistake, or did it show Jack learning and improving? Now, let's move on to the next episode, Puppet. While playing with Bluey and Bingo, Bandit brings a little unicorn puppet to life. As he moves it around with his hand, he suddenly calls the kids Salad Dodgers. It might sound like a random nickname. Salad Dodgers is actually the name of the game Bandit played in the very first pilot episode of Bluey. It's a small reference, but one that connects the early days of the show to this moment. The next secrets appeared in the episodes Stumpfest and Tradies. During Stumpfest, Bandit, Stripe, and Pat put all their strength into pulling a stubborn tree stump from the ground. After a lot of effort, they finally yank it out, leaving a big hole behind. At first, it just seems like part of the fun, but this hole actually shows up again later. In the episode Tradies, Chippy and Sparky dig out a pond, and it turns out they're working in the exact same spot. Instead of starting from scratch, they just expand the hole that was already there. Now, let's talk about the episode, Early Baby. In some scenes of this episode, Bluey's little nurse hat has a red cross on it, but in others, the cross is purple. It's not a design choice. It's actually because of content regulations in certain regions. Some places don't allow the use of the red cross in the media unless it's for official medical purposes. So, instead of changing the whole scene, they just tweaked the color. A tiny adjustment, but one that most people would never even notice. If you didn't know this, we definitely deserve a hit at the like button. Now, let's move on to the episode, Perfect. The fridge in the healer house is always covered in little details. But in this episode, if you look closely, you'll see drawings made by Bluey and Bingo, each one referencing a different episode. In the top right corner, there's a sketch of Mia, likely drawn by Bluey as a nod to the episode Barky Boats. Nearby, there's a grumpy-looking muffin, which feels pretty fitting, a drawing of the wagon from the episode Wagon Ride, and even the messy duck cake from Duck Cake. Further down, there's a sweet drawing of Rad and Frisky holding hands with little hearts above them, just like in the episode Double Babysitter. And, of course, Unicorse makes an appearance too. It's like the fridge is holding on to every memory. Maybe one day, we'll see even more little callbacks hidden in plain sight. Moving on, did you notice the sad ears? In Bluey, we've seen how the characters wag their tails when they're excited. But here's another cool detail we noticed. When they're feeling down, their ears drop, just like real-life dogs. In multiple scenes, when a character is sad or disappointed, their ears naturally lower. It's a subtle but awesome way to show emotion, giving the characters a real dog-like quality. Now, here's a more surprising secret and reference to old cartoons. Bandit might be one of the most iconic cartoon dads now, but his name actually comes from an old-school classic, Johnny Quest, an adventure series that aired in the 60s, 80s, and 90s, featured a loyal bulldog named Bandit. That's right, the Healer family dad was named after a dog from a completely different animated show. But Johnny Quest isn't the only hidden reference. In the episode Double Babysitter, Radley's parked pickup has a strange sticker on the back. At first, it looks like a random design, but anyone who's seen Courage the Cowardly Dog might recognize it. The shape is almost identical to Cat's, one of Courage's creepier villains. Someone on the Bluey team clearly has a soft spot for classic cartoons. And there's one more odd detail in that scene. Sitting on the roof of the healer house is an American football. Bluey and Bingo don't play the sport, so it must have come from somewhere else. The funny part, it wasn't always there, meaning at some point it must have landed up there, maybe even in an unseen moment waiting to be told, just like the kite. The episode, Dirt, starts with a shot of the healer house, but there's a tiny detail most people might miss. If you look closely at the tree beside the house, you'll spot a bird-shaped kite tangled in the branches. This isn't just any kite. It's the same one Bingo won in Pass the Parcel. Instead of being forgotten, the show sneakily brings it back, showing what might have happened to it after the game. Now, did you notice the helmet and eyebrows connection? In the early episodes of Bluey, something was missing whenever a character put on a helmet: their eyebrows. At first, it made sense. The helmet sat snugly on their heads, covering everything underneath. But starting in Season 2, the eyebrows magically started appearing on top of the helmets. It might seem like a mistake, but it was actually a smart design choice. Eyebrows play a big role in showing emotions, and without them, some expressions are harder to read. So now, no matter how snug the helmet is, those eyebrows are always there, because even in Bluey, good expressions come first. Anyways, did you notice Wendy's never impressed with Chili? In the episode Dance Mode, the Healer family goes all out with their wild moves, but there's something hilarious happening in the background. As Chili dances past Wendy's car, Pat, ever the supportive neighbor, compliments Bluey's dance skills. But the moment Pat speaks, Wendy's face shifts instantly, like she just heard the worst take of the year. Whether she disagrees or just isn't a fan of all the chaos, one thing's clear: Wendy doesn't hide her feelings. Moving on, let's talk about pets in Bluey. We've seen plenty of animals in Bluey, but what about pets? In Vet Hospital, there's a dog holding an iguana, and a goldfish sits on a shelf nearby. But that raises an interesting question. What other pets exist in this world? Obviously, dogs having pet dogs would be a little strange. But what about cats? There have been hints. A cave drawing in Bandit's office seems to show a dog hunting a cat. Then there's Cat Squad, and a few cat plushies scattered throughout the series. But the biggest clue comes from the episode Shops, where the kids pretend to be pet kittens. If they're playing that game, it likely means they've seen someone with a pet cat before. Still, we've yet to see a real cat walking around. Maybe one will show up one day, if Bluey's world is ready for it. Did you notice Rusty's hidden detail? Most Bluey fans know that Rusty was almost the main character before the creators decided on Bluey. That's why their designs are so similar. But there's another detail about Rusty that's even more interesting. Rusty is an Australian red kelpie, a breed known for having a marking on its chest. And if you look closely, every member of Rusty's family has a unique one. Rusty's chest marking is a diamond, his little sister's is a small circle, and his older brother's looks like a downward arrow. Their mom has a lightning bolt shape, and their dad, a simple triangle. It's a small touch, but it makes each character feel even more unique. And considering Rusty was almost the star of the show, it's cool that he still gets his own standout details. There's another thing you missed: the cereal box connection. In the episode Mini Bluey, when Bandit and Chili hide in the food cupboard, there's a cereal box sitting in the background. Nothing unusual, right? But if you go back to the episode Feather Wand, you'll see the exact same cereal box in the Healer household. It's a small background detail, but it proves that Bluey keeps its world consistent, even down to the groceries. It's fun to catch little connections like this. Who knows what other tiny details are hiding in plain sight? Did you know the Who were the first friends of Bluey? Rusty and Mackenzie might just be Bluey's oldest friends. Not in the story, but in real life. Back in the 2016 pilot episode, long before Bluey became what it is today, these two were already there. While Bluey played on a swing with Bandit, Rusty and Mackenzie were dancing in the background. And here's the wild part: both of them appeared before Chili, and Bingo were even part of the show. That's right, these two pups have been around since the very beginning. It's crazy to think they almost had a head start over Bluey's own family. Speaking of family, let's talk about the Healer family's jobs. By now, most Bluey fans know the Healer family's jobs. Bandit's an archaeologist, and Chili works in airport security. But here's a clever twist: these jobs actually reflect real-life dog traits. Bandit, being an archaeologist, is a nod to how dogs love digging and sniffing out things like bones. And Chili's job at airport security? Well, it's a direct reference to how dogs are often trained to detect suspicious items at airports. A pretty genius way to tie the character's work to real-world dog behaviors. Looks like the Healers are working jobs that totally suit their species. Now, did you notice Bingo's car seat upgrade? This is a neat little change you might not have noticed. In the earlier episodes of Bluey, Bingo's car seat was just a lap sash, which had some fans wondering if she was really big enough for it. Well, the creators listened to the feedback, and by Season 2, Bingo's car seat got a much-needed upgrade to a 4-point harness. And there you have it. These clever details might not always be front and center, but they definitely add to the charm of the show. After all, it's the small things that make the world of Bluey so lovable. Did you catch any other cool details? Let us know in the comments below.
And those are just the start. Let's check out even more details hiding in Bluey's world.
Bluey's world is full of hidden gems, details you've probably missed that make the show even more amazing. So, did you ever notice how the Healer family's jobs match real dog traits? Bandit works as an archaeologist, and this is a clever reference to how dogs love digging and sniffing out bone. Chili works in airport security, which is a nod to how dogs are trained to sniff out suspicious items in real life. But there's an even cooler detail behind Bandit's job. The show creators made him an archaeologist because of his digging instinct, but they also based his character on Joe Brum's real-life brother, Professor Adam Brum. Professor Adam has made groundbreaking archaeological discoveries, including finding the remains of Homo floresiensis. In Bluey, the money shown is just like real Australian currency. In the episode Granny Mobile, when the old pug buys Muffin's scooter, she hands over a $100 bill that's almost identical to the real Australian $100 bill, with the green and orange tint. But that's not the only time Bluey uses real money. In the episode Market, Bluey holds a $5 bill that resembles the Australian $5 note, except it's been given a doggy makeover. Even the $10 bill features a dog in a hat, just like the real Australian $10, but with a fun twist. Mackenzie's mom has a unique look, but she didn't always look this way. In the early episodes, she had one spot on her face, but later on, 2 spots appear. What happened to her? Some fans might think she just dyed her fur, like how people change their hair color. But there's another theory that might make more sense. Mackenzie's mom could be showing a condition like vitiligo, where parts of her fur turn white over time. This would explain why one side of her fur is brown and the other turns white as the show goes on. Bluey never mentions it, but this subtle detail might be a clever nod to real-life issues. In the episode Pass the Parcel, we see the kids unwrapping gifts and rushing to their mom, each one looking like their parent. But there's something different with Missy. Her mom isn't the same breed as her. Every other family follows a pattern. Bluey and Bingo look like Bandit and Chili. Judo and her mom resemble each other, and even Indy shares the same fluffy coat as her mother. But Missy, she has floppy ears while her mom has pointy ones, and their fur textures are different too. This makes you wonder, could Missy be adopted? If she is, it sends a quiet but powerful message. Family isn't just about looks, it's about love and connection. In Bluey, even the license plates are packed with hidden meaning. The Healer family's plate reads 419HLR, which isn't just random. 419 is a shade of blue, and HLR stands for Healer, a nod to their breed, the Blue Healer. But it gets even better. Terrier's mom has a plate that spells out her family name, Terrier. It's a simple, clever touch. The funniest one, though, belongs to Bella. Her plate reads Too Many Kids, which perfectly sums up her life with 9 children. These small details show just how much thought is put into every little aspect of Bluey. In the episode Double Babysitter, Bluey refuses to sleep unless her parents tuck her in. At first, it just looks like she's being difficult, but as we learn, it's because of something that happened with Nana Chris. Bluey explains that she got scared after seeing something on TV with her Nana. Whatever it was, it must have been pretty terrifying to give Bluey nightmares. The show never tells us exactly what it is, leaving it up to our imagination. Could it have been a creepy movie about shadows in the dark or a lost child? Whatever it was, it left a lasting fear in Bluey. And the weirdest part? We never get to know the full story. Sometimes it's scarier that way. Bandit, the beloved dad in Bluey, actually shares his name with a character from a classic cartoon. The name Bandit comes from a bulldog in the old-school adventure show Johnny Quest, which aired in the 60s, 80s, and 90s. So, Bandit's name is a tribute to a dog from a completely different animated world. But that's not all. In the episode Double Babysitter, Radley's pickup truck features a sticker that looks oddly familiar. It resembles Cats, a creepy villain from Courage the Cowardly Dog. It's clear the Bluey team loves sneaking in references to classic cartoons. Oh, and did you notice the American football on the roof of the Healer house? It wasn't always there, so it must have ended up there somehow, maybe during an unseen moment. In the episode, The Quiet Game, most of the focus is on Bandit trying to stay silent, but there's a small, heartbreaking detail that often gets missed. Right after the title screen, Bandit walks past a man sitting on the sidewalk, asking for money. At first, he seems like just another background character, but take a closer look. The man looks strikingly similar to the terrier's dad. Same fur color, same feature. It's hard to miss. This could be a coincidence, but Bluey is known for hiding meaningful detail. What if this suggests something tragic happened to the terrier's dad, like a tough divorce? It would explain why the terriers are always so energetic, using their games as a way to cope. We may never know for sure, but the next time you watch, keep an eye out for more hidden clues. In Bluey, background characters aren't just filler. They always have a purpose. Take Buttermilk and Biscuits, the two ponies introduced in the episode Market. At first, they seem like a cute detail, but keep watching, and you'll spot them again. In Pass the Parcel, Buttermilk makes an appearance, but Biscuits is nowhere to be seen. Then in Curry Quest, both ponies are back again. It's almost like these ponies pop up to mark special moments in the story, hinting at something bigger happening. This clever use of background characters adds a layer of meaning to each episode, making Bluey even more fun to watch if you're paying attention to the detail. Bandit's always coming up with clever lines, but when he calls Bluey and Bingo salad dodgers, it's not just a random joke. There's actually a deeper connection to the very first time Bluey appeared on screen. In the original pilot episode, Bandit introduced a game called Salad Dodger, where the goal was to get kids to eat their veggies in a fun way. Pilot was a bit different from the Bluey we know now, but bits of it still pop up in the show. This reference to the pilot is a clever nod to the past, showing how even the smallest details from early episodes carry through to later ones. In the episode Army, Jack is the new kid at school and joins Rusty's army. At first, he's not great at following the rules, but there's one small detail that makes his journey more meaningful. When Jack first salutes, he uses his left hand, which isn't how it's done in the army. Soldiers salute with their right hand. By the end of the episode, after some training, Jack finally salutes the right way. This change isn't just a mistake. It shows how much Jack has learned and grown throughout the episode. It's a subtle but powerful moment that highlights his progress and the value of practice and improvement. Bluey's Tooth Fairy dollar isn't just a random prop. It has its own adventure. In the market, Bluey can't decide what to spend it on. First, Winton's dad suggests a candy apple, but it gets passed around. From there, the dollar moves between different characters, through a sausage vendor, then into a musician's hat in dance mode. That musician? He's actually based on Joff Bush, the composer behind Bluey's music. And the dollar pops up again in the quiet game when the musician spends it at the market. Some fans think this dollar could make more appearances. Maybe when Bingo loses her first tooth. Could it be Bluey's version of a lucky coin or just a fun hidden Easter egg? There's a hidden detail in Bluey that's easy to miss. One of the photos in Bluey and Bingo's room changes over time. In Fruit Bat, the picture shows Bluey and Bingo together, with Bluey sticking her tongue out and winking. But in a later episode, the same photo pops up again, but with a twist. Bluey now has both eyes open and a simple smile, no tongue sticking out. The pose is almost the same, but the change is clear. It's like someone went back and edited the photo. It's a small, sneaky detail, but it's a fun reminder that even the tiniest elements in the show are carefully thought out. Uncle Rad might look like your average healer at first, but take a closer look at his fur. Unlike Chili's red or Bandit's blue, Rad sports a unique mix of both, half red, half blue. Now here's the catch. Grandpa Bob and Grandma Chris are both blue healers, so it's super rare for two blue healers to have a red pup. So how did Rad get this split color? The answer could lie in recessive gene. Even though his parents are blue, they might carry the red gene without showing it. If both passed it down, it could explain Rad's unusual fur. Or maybe there's another explanation, like a hidden red healer in the family. In Stumpfest, Bandit, Stripe, and Pat put all their energy into pulling a tough tree stump from the ground. After a lot of effort, they finally get it out, leaving behind a deep hole. It seemed like just part of the fun, right? But that hole shows up again later. In Tradies, Chippy and Sparky dig a pond, and guess where they're working? Yep, the exact same spot. Instead of starting fresh, they just expand the hole that was left behind. It's a clever way the show ties these episodes together, making the world feel more connected and showing that even small details can have big meaning in Bluey's world. Bluey has a subtle but clever detail woven through its episode. Birds that mirror the healer's emotion. It's not just random. These birds reflect what Bluey and her family are going through. In the trampoline, when Bluey and Bingo don't want Bandit to leave for work, a group of baby birds watches their mother fly away, calling out just like the girls did. Later, in Curry Quest, Bluey and Bingo tag along with Bandit to get takeout. Above them, magpies embark on their own journey, with a mother magpie leaving to find food, just like Bandit. These birds are more than just background details. They echo the family's experiences. But the real question is, are the birds watching Bluey, or is Bluey watching them? Bluey fans have often wondered if there are other animals besides the healer. While we mainly see birds and lizards, a couple of details hint at the possibility of more. In the tradies, there's a cave painting featuring a dog holding a cat, which suggests that cats once roamed this world. This raises the question, were animals like cats part of Bluey's universe before? Then in Kids, Bluey walks past a shelf with milk cartons. If you look closely, you'll see a udder symbol, typically linked to cow. This subtle detail could mean cows exist too, but they're not walking around talking. Instead, they might be farm animals, quietly blending into the background of Bluey's world. Bluey loves sneaking in little self-references that fans might not notice at first. In The Quiet Game, you can spot a book in a bookstore window. It's actually about the events of Fruit Bat, a clever nod to an earlier episode. Then, in Show and Tell, there's an electrical box painted with Bluey and Bingo's faces. What's even more interesting, that box is real and it's painted exactly the same way in the real world. And in Kids, when Bandit and Bluey head to the supermarket, look closely at the toy aisle. You'll spot a box with a blue dog resembling Bluey. The odd part, the house on the box looks just like Bluey's home. Could Bluey be a local celebrity in her own world? Fridge in the Healer house is more than just a place for food. It's like a memory board. In one episode, if you look closely, you'll spot drawings by Bluey and Bingo, each one a reference to a different episode. In the top right, there's a drawing of Mia from Barky Boat. Below that, a Grumpy Muffin, totally fitting. You'll also see Sock, the wagon from Wagon Ride, and even the messy duck cake from Duck. There's a sweet picture of Rad and Frisky holding hands, straight from Double Babysitter. And of course, Unicourse is there too. That's it for the amazing details you might have missed in Bluey. Who knows what other surprises are tucked away? See you in the next one.
If you thought that was cool, wait until you see the details about Chili's past.
Everyone talks about Bandit's childhood, Muffin's chaos, and Bingo's imagination. Meanwhile, Chili's walking around with enough hidden history to fill her own spin-off series. First, Sisterhood on Ice. Chili and her sister Brandy didn't speak for years. No texts, no visits, no birthday cards, just silence. When Brandy finally shows up in onesies, she's nervous, awkward, and carrying way too much emotional baggage. Fans think Brandy couldn't handle seeing Chili live the life she always wanted, a happy home and 2 loving kids. That kind of hurt can drive a wedge deep. But what started it? Did they fight? Was it jealousy? A childhood rivalry gone too far? Whatever it was, it left scars. And it might explain why Chili always seems so emotionally wise. But now, they're carefully stitching things back together, with Bluey and Bingo watching. 2. Raised to keep it together. Chili always seems calm, but in Sheepdog and Relax, it's clear she's facing burnout. In Sheepdog, she asks for just 20 minutes to herself. No kids, no noise, just space. In Relax, a family holiday becomes another stressful checklist she has to control. These moments aren't just about being tired. They feel like the result of years spent keeping everything together. Maybe she grew up in a home where someone had to stay strong, and that job fell on her. And when she finally lets go, she comes back to Bandit getting a haircut in the yard. Somehow, the burnout only gets worse. But what if Chili wasn't always so controlled? 3. What if Chili was the wild one? Chili is the calm one now, but what if she didn't start out that way? Maybe she was more like Muffin, loud, stubborn, and always in charge. That kind of energy doesn't just disappear. It matures, softens, and learns when to speak and when to listen. Maybe Chili's steady nature comes from trial and error, from being too much before learning how to be enough. That would explain her patience when things go sideways. She understands emotional chaos because she lived through it, and maybe the clearest clue to that version of her is tucked away in a quiet spot from her past. 4. Secrets beneath the lookout. In The Sign, Chili knows exactly where to find Frisky at the lookout. Not just any place, but their place. They used to go there as teens, but the show never explains why it mattered so much. Was it where they went to escape stress at home? Did they vent about their families or whisper about the future? Whatever happened there, it clearly left a mark. The way Chili looks at that spot says everything. It wasn't just a hangout, it was a safe zone. A place for secrets, maybe even heartbreak. That kind of spot doesn't just disappear from memory, and it makes you wonder, how deep did Chili and Frisky's bond really go? Well, 5. Frisky was more than a friend. She's Bluey's godmother, and that title means something. It suggests trust, history, and loyalty that didn't happen overnight. Frisky might have been Chili's safe person, the one who showed up when things got hard with Brandy, or when her mum was no longer there. Maybe they survived teenage heartbreaks together. Maybe they just got each other in a way no one else did. We don't know how they met or what they went through, but whatever it was, it stuck. You don't pick someone to help raise your kids unless they've already helped raise a part of you. And maybe that unshakable bond has something to do with how Chili was raised herself. That brings us to 6. The rules she grew up with. In the Healer home, there's a photo that says a lot without saying a word. Mort in military uniform. That one picture changes how you see Chili's past. If her dad was in the service, her childhood might have been full of early mornings, firm rules, and very little room for feelings. Maybe that's why she's so level-headed now. Maybe she had to be. Growing up in a house where discipline came first could explain why she's drawn to a job in airport security, or why she doesn't always show her emotions. It might even explain why she's so steady. Someone had to be, but did that kind of childhood make her want to be a parent or avoid it? Yes, let's talk about 7. Did Chili want to be a mom? Chili is a great mom, but what if she didn't always want to be one? Not everyone grows up dreaming of snack boxes and school drop-offs. Maybe she once pictured a completely different life. It's possible she had doubts, or even fears, about raising a family. But something changed. Maybe it was seeing someone be a great parent, or maybe it was one quiet moment that stuck with her forever. A comment, a memory, or a feeling that flipped the switch. That kind of decision doesn't always come easy, and it doesn't always come early. And if she didn't always see herself as a mom, who was she planning to be instead? 8. Before she found her balance. Everyone sees Chili as calm, thoughtful, and steady. But was she always like that? Maybe not. Kids aren't born balanced. They grow into it, or get pushed into it. Chili might have been opinionated, dramatic, even a little awkward. She could have had big emotions and no clue what to do with them. Maybe she had to learn how to stay calm the hard way, through trial and error. Or maybe someone in her life taught her to pause and think before reacting. That would explain why she's so patient with Bluey and Bingo. She knows what it's like to feel too much, too fast. And maybe the person who helped shape that calm isn't around anymore. 9. The mother who's missing. We've met Bandit's whole family. Brothers, parents, cousins, but on Chili's side, her mum is almost invisible. She only shows up in a quick flashback during Dragon, and never again. That silence says a lot. Maybe she passed away when Chili was still young, or maybe something happened that the family doesn't talk about. Either way, her absence feels heavy. It could explain why Chili is so protective of her dad and granddad, or why she carries so much responsibility on her own shoulders. Losing a parent early can force a child to grow up fast. But not everything about Chili's past was heavy. Some of it may have been fast, fun, and 10. A childhood fueled by sports. Chili plays hockey in her free time, and not like it's a hobby. She's in it. That kind of energy usually starts early. Maybe young Chili was the kind of kid who joined every school team, woke up early for practice, and turned every family picnic into a full-contact sport. Sports might have been her outlet. When life got messy or overwhelming, maybe she put all that emotion into a slapshot. That physical side of her still shows up now, just in quieter ways. You can feel it in how she keeps moving, stays active, and handles pressure like she's in the final minutes of a tied game. But not all her strength came from sports. Some of it came from the 11, the hidden role of nature in Chili's upbringing. Chili always seems at peace in nature. Whether it's camping under the stars, watching waves, or walking through quiet forests, she looks like someone who's done it all before. Maybe she grew up near the bush, spending weekends hiking with Mort, or learning to listen to the world when it's quiet. That kind of childhood sticks with you. It teaches patience, stillness, and how to breathe when everything else feels loud. No wonder she brings Bluey and Bingo outside whenever things get too much. Nature probably raised her almost as much as her parents did. But even people raised in calm places can carry storms inside, especially when they don't talk about what's really going on. 12th, a tendency to bottle things up. Chili keeps it together, but she also keeps things in. In the sign, she nearly moves house without telling anyone how scared she is, until Frisky pulls it out of her. That kind of silence doesn't start in adulthood. It starts young, in homes where feelings aren't talked about and hard moments are swept under the rug. Maybe Chili learned early that staying quiet was easier than being honest. It's no wonder she teaches Bluey and Bingo to name their feelings. She wants them to do what she couldn't. Emotional strength can be loud, but sometimes it's built from years of being quiet. And speaking of things she doesn't talk about. 13. What if Bandit wasn't her first love? We all know Bandit is the love of Chili's life, but what if he wasn't the first? Maybe there was someone else back when she was younger and didn't know what real love looked like. A relationship that started fast and ended badly. Maybe it taught her that love should never feel confusing or small. That heartbreak could be the reason she's so emotionally steady now. She doesn't play games. She knows what matters. That kind of wisdom usually comes from experience. The kind you don't talk about but never really forget. A first love can leave a scar or a lesson, sometimes both. And maybe that old memory connects to something even more personal than heartbreak. 14. Brandy's baby or Chili's past repeating? In The Sign, Brandy's surprise pregnancy raises more questions than answers. No one explains how it happened, how far along she is, or how she feels about it. But what if this moment wasn't just about Brandy? What if it's a quiet mirror of something Chili went through years earlier? Maybe there was a pregnancy scare, a tough decision, or even a private loss that shifted everything for her. That kind of moment can change how someone views motherhood forever. It might explain why Chili is so deeply protective, so fiercely present, not just because she's a good mom, but because getting there wasn't easy. And just like that, the calm, collected Chili suddenly feels like the most complicated character in the whole show. Was there one moment that changed how you see her forever? Tell us below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. There's more to this mom than meets the eye.
And before we wrap up, let's break down the details hidden in Bluey's intro.
We've all seen the Bluey intro. 1. The healers might be dancing on a fake set. Take a good look at the Bluey intro. The whole family is dancing, but where are they exactly? You don't see their house. There's no living room, no yard, not even a single blade of grass. Just a flat blue background, like someone dropped them into a screen. But there are hidden moments you probably missed. Shadow. That means there's a light shining on them from above and a floor beneath them to catch it. But the show never tells us what that floor is or where they even are. It starts to feel less like home and more like a set. It's the same kind of weird as Peppa Pig. Remember that episode where Miss Rabbit is caught filming the intro? Turns out the Peppa intro is literally a show within the show. Could that be happening here too? Has someone been recording Bluey and her family from behind the scenes? And if so, who's the Miss Rabbit of Bluey's world? Calypso? Lucky's dad? Or is Bandit in on it? Second, Bandit can't stop thinking about the lawn. Bandit is dancing in the intro like everyone else, but something about his moves feels a little too specific. If you pause at just the right moment, you'll notice he's not just wiggling around. He's acting out a task, and not just any task. He's pushing something. Not a shopping cart, not a stroller. It's a lawnmower. Bandit is pretending to mow the grass in the middle of a family dance sequence. You might laugh at that, but it fits him perfectly. Even when he's off the clock, his mind is still stuck on chores. The dance isn't just for fun, it's a dad trying to multitask in his head. The rest of the family is enjoying themselves, but Bandit is slipping into a daydream about yard work. It's oddly relatable and a little sad. He finally gets a moment to relax, and instead of letting go, he starts mentally mowing the lawn. That's not just dancing, that's domestic burnout, animated and choreographed. Someone give this dog a break. 3. The healer house was removed for a reason. Most cartoons go out of their way to show you where the characters live. Arthur always starts with the school bus. Phineas and Ferb show their entire backyard. Even Courage the cowardly dog lives in the middle of nowhere, but at least we see the house. But in Bluey, the intro shows you nothing. No door, no kitchen, no backyard with a swing set. It's just blue. Not sky blue, not water, just blue. It almost feels like someone deleted their world. And here's the weird part. It works. The emptiness forces you to focus on the family. Without furniture or walls, there's no sense of place, only personality. It's not about where they are, it's about who they are. Still, it makes you wonder if this is really an intro, or some kind of holding space, like the family's stuck between episodes, waiting for the script to start. They smile, they dance, but they never leave. It's creative, sure, but it's also just a little eerie when you really think about it. 4. Bluey's world isn't colored for you. The color choices in Bluey might look bright and friendly, but they were not picked to impress children. The real audience for the show's color palette is the characters themselves. Dogs don't see the same range of color humans do. They can't see red or green the way we can. Their world is mostly made up of blues, yellows, and grays. Now look again at the show. That's exactly what you get. Bluey, Bingo, the background, the furniture, it all fits within the limited range of a dog's eyesight. It's not just a cute artistic choice, it's a complete shift in perspective. The world you're watching was designed through a dog's eyes, not yours. It's creative, but also a little unsettling. The more you think about it, the more it feels like we're not watching for Bluey, we're watching as her. The audience becomes the character. Maybe that's why the show feels so personal. It pulls you into a filtered version of reality, one where we're not the center anymore. 5. The shadows prove nothing is real. When you watch the Bluey intro, you'll notice each character has a shadow. That detail feels normal at first until you realize what's missing. There is no floor, no backyard, no surface at all. Just an endless blue space with nothing to stand on. And yet, every healer casts a perfect, solid shadow, like they're grounded on something real. The shadows are a problem. They don't make physical sense. They suggest light is hitting something, but the show never shows us what. It's like someone wanted to trick your brain into believing the characters exist exist in a real space, even when that space doesn't exist at all. This supports the theory that the intro was filmed on a fake set, built only to make the healers look normal. The shadows act like props, placed there to fool you. They tell you the family is real, that they belong in this world. But if you take the shadows away, they start to float, and the illusion falls apart. The scariest part is that the show never explains it. It just hopes you don't ask. 6. Bluey's identity has been hiding in plain sight. Many viewers are still surprised to learn something the show never tries to hide. Bluey is not a boy, she's a girl. That fact is mentioned clearly throughout the show, yet it continues to confuse people. The reason is simple: she's blue. In most children's shows, color usually matches gender. Pink for girls, blue for boys. It's a lazy system, but people still expect it. Bluey ignores it completely. She wears no bows. She doesn't have a girly voice or outfit. She just exists, without needing to prove anything. What makes this detail even more clever is that it never becomes a story. No one in the show acts like it's strange. The writers don't try to teach you a lesson. They let her be who she is, and trust that the audience will figure it out eventually. In a way, that's more rebellious than a speech about stereotypes. Bluey doesn't break rules loudly. She just walks past them quietly and smiles while everyone else catches up. 7. The word Mum was never for you. If you're watching Bluey and wondering why the screen says mum instead of mom, don't worry, it's not a spelling mistake. It's not a joke either, it's just not for you. This show was made in Australia, and in Australia, it's always been mum. That's what Bluey calls her mother, and that's how it's always going to stay. This isn't a small detail either. The show keeps everything local. They use Aussie accents, Aussie slang, and even Aussie parenting. You'll hear bin instead of trash, nappy instead of diaper, and not once will anyone stop to explain it to you. The creators never try to localize the show for American audiences. They didn't change the voices. They didn't change the spelling. They didn't adjust the words to make things easier. They simply trusted that you would keep up or be left behind. 8. The intro is actually a game, disguised as a dance. At first glance, the Bluey intro looks like a happy family moment. Everyone's dancing, smiling, moving to the beat, but it's not just a fun routine. It's a game, and not just any game, it's musical statues. That one detail changes everything. Each time a name is called, the character freezes in place, not in a casual way either. Their poses are stiff, exaggerated, and strangely intense. It's not about dancing well. It's about staying perfectly still at the right time. That's how the game works. If you move, you lose. This means the intro isn't just cute background animation. It's a timed competition playing out every single episode, hidden behind upbeat music. The cheerful expressions and frozen limbs take on a new meaning when you realize they're trying not to get eliminated. They're not showing off their dance moves. They're fighting to stay in the game. It's clever, it's playful, and depending on how you look at it, a little unsettling. They smile, they pose, but they never break the rules, because someone's always watching. 9. Chili's joy might be a distraction. Most people watch the Bluey intro and focus on the kids, but if you shift your attention for just a moment, you'll notice something unexpected. Chili, the mother, is smiling. She isn't just smiling though, she looks completely relaxed, dancing freely, almost like someone who's never known stress. That version of her only seems to exist in the intro. In the show itself, Chili often looks tired. She is calm, patient, and clearly loving, but you can tell life wears her down. That's what makes the intro so strange. This glimpse of her isn't weighed down by anything. It feels like a version of her that no longer exists outside of those first few seconds. The smile feels too perfect, like it's been carefully chosen, like it's for someone else. It raises the question of whether this happy version of Chili is real, or if it's just the one she performs while the cameras are rolling. If the intro is a stage, then this might be her costume. And once it ends, she goes back to reality. So next time you hear the theme song, remember, this intro isn't just fun and games. There are secrets baked into every frame. Was this all intentional, or are we reading too much into it? Comment below, subscribe if you're into uncovering the weird side of cartoons, and I'll see you in the next one.